So anytime you're in a fat loss phase, weight loss plateaus are inevitable. They're gonna happen. So try not to get frustrated about it. I know they can be, but understand it's just part of the process. It's your body doing its job. It's adapting and they're normal. So when they do happen, you're gonna need to make some adjustments to get the process going again, but you can't just drop calories every time you don't see any movement at all, or you'll end up at super low calories right away. So it's important to remember you want to eat as many calories as possible and really do as little cardio as possible while seeing results, so you have room to make adjustments to keep the process working again. If you drop your calories too low, sure, you'll see faster results in the beginning. Understand a lot of that weight is just going to be water weight, possibly even muscle. You're going to slow down your metabolism faster and you're going to get stuck. And in the long run, you'll end up losing less body fat because of this. So you need to be patient. Anyway, to basically answer the question right away for this video, you want to wait at least 2 weeks of not seeing progress, maybe 3 weeks, before you drop your calories. Now don't go anywhere because you need to understand what a plateau really looks like, because it's not as simple as you probably think. So when I say 2 to 3 weeks of a plateau, that's not just you didn't see any change on the scale. And it's especially important to not only do something like a weekly weigh-in, because your weight fluctuates too much on a daily basis to take that. If you happen to weigh yourself one day where you're abnormally high or low one week and the opposite the next week, it can really skew things. What can even happen is you may be losing weight on average, but because you're only taking one snapshot in time, it can take that loss and turn it into a gain if you happen to be really bloated, sore, ate a lot of sodium, things like that, so you're retaining a lot of water. So what you want to do is weigh yourself daily, first thing in the morning, after going to the bathroom, and before eating or drinking anything, as this is the most consistent time of the day, and then take an average for the week and compare that, not any snapshot in time. And while it may seem counterintuitive if you struggle with the scale, almost everyone ends up creating a better relationship with the scale by doing this, because eventually you get kind of desensitized to these fluctuations because you understand they're normal. But it's not just about weight. Keep in mind, you're not looking to change your weight. You're looking to change your body. Most of the time, your weight will probably make a significant change if you're gonna significantly reduce your body fat, but not in all cases. And you can absolutely see changes in your body composition without much change in the scale. I've even seen people go up on the scale, but clearly have lost body fat. So when you're looking for a plateau, it's 2 to 3 weeks of no changes on the scale, no changes in your measurements, no changes in how your clothes are fitting, and no changes when you compare pictures side by side. If you see movement in any of these areas, that means something's happening and you're making progress. And trust me, they don't always all move at the same time. In fact, I would argue more times than not, only 1 or 2 of these things is going to change while the others won't. Sometimes people will lose weight really fast, measurements won't change at all. Sometimes people lose a lot of inches and weight will barely even move. Sometimes weight and measurements will barely change, but you can see big changes in pictures. So you want to look at everything and not get too hyper focused on that scale. Easily the most underrated aspect is the pictures, looking at them side by side. I feel like almost nobody does this, and I just took a poll right before shooting this video, so I'll put up the results when I do the editing in a few days and we'll see what they look like, but I'm almost positive the majority of people just don't look. And like I said, you're not looking to change those other things, you're looking to change the way you look, and pictures are going to tell you that so much better than anything else. And even going back more than just 1 week, 2 or 3 weeks at a time is better, because it takes time for the body to change. Visible changes in body fat just don't happen very fast, especially for yourself. If you're not comparing side by side, you see yourself every single day, so as things happen, you're not really going to see it. And even a week at a time is usually not really enough to see big changes, especially if you have a lot of weight to lose. You have to understand there's a big difference between losing 10 pounds if you're 120 pounds versus 10 pounds when you're 300 pounds. It's a difference of like 8 to 9% of your total body weight versus 3% of your body weight. One of the things that can really help this sink in is what's called the paper towel effect. If you were to take a roll and look at it from the side where you can see the hole, and you have a full roll, and then you take one sheet off of that and then compare a full roll to one sheet missing, it's gonna look exactly the same. But if you take one sheet off every week for the next 20 weeks, now all of a sudden when you look back, you're gonna see big changes that you can't see while the process is happening. So if you don't have this visual representation, it can really mess with your mind when it doesn't feel like things are working. Take pictures from the front, from the back, and from the side, because fat can come from anywhere, and then compare them on a screen side by side, and don't make any assumptions. But understand, any starting point is a best guess. You're never gonna know how well things are gonna work. The most important part, I say this all the time and it's true, you have to be consistent with what you're doing, monitor how that's going via all the things I just talked about, and then make adjustments based on that. But if you're not being consistent, it's hard to know what to do, and you definitely don't want to make adjustments if you're having a lot of binging tendencies and you keep overeating on your calories. The last thing you want to do is give yourself a lower calorie target because you're not losing weight because you keep overeating on your calories. That's only going to make things worse. You're not going to be more consistent with your plan by making the plan harder to follow. Now, if you are being consistent and you've hit a true plateau, now you want to make some adjustments. I do recommend taking a diet break first. I have just found this to be like the best weight loss plateau buster there is. Bring your calories up by a few hundred, reduce your cardio by a little bit. And I have a video about how to diet break. I'll put that in the description. You can check that out later. But to simplify things, that's kind of roughly how you do it. Take a week or two. This will help get your hormones and metabolism back into a better spot. Then come back and adjust your calories from before the diet break by about 10%, maybe adding a little bit more cardio as well. And this should get things going for you again. But don't make any reductions in calories from protein. Keep that protein up. It's super important. And something I can't stress enough. At some point, probably going to get too difficult to keep making drops. Like, you can't just drop calories forever. And if you get frustrated and it feels like you can't lose and there's no room to adjust, do not just say, screw it, it's too hard, it's not worth the effort, I might as well do whatever I want, and then just go eat like crazy. I promise you, you are gonna gain weight so fast. Eventually you'll end up panicking, trying to come back again, but your body hasn't had time to adapt to these higher calories, and you'll still be stuck. So don't get to a point where just because you can't lose, you might as well now gain. No, stop, go on to another phase now, start gradually increasing your calories, go through the reverse dieting process to get yourself back into a better place. You still have to be okay with some weight gain, but we can minimize it this way, and then down the road you'll be able to drop calories again and get things moving. If you just keep dropping calories and then saying screw it, and then dropping calories and saying screw it, you're just going to recycle that same weight and honestly probably just get bigger and bigger each time. But you also may be wondering, how do I know how many calories is too low? Is there a certain amount that's safe? Are there some sort of warning signs I should look for? And if you want to know how many calories is too low, then make sure you check out this top video next, as that's exactly what I cover. Otherwise, I think you'll like this bottom video instead, and I'll see you in that other video.